Hi, welcome to Shannon Confidential. I'm Shannon, your host, and Shannon Confidential is a podcast about life, love, and everything in between. We all know there's a lot of everything in between going on right now in the world. But one thing that stays the same is all of us and what we go through. It does not matter who you are, where you live, how much money you make, how big your house is, what car you drive, what religion you are, how successful you are, or you have a job, you don't have a job. It does not matter. We all have good times, bad times, ups and downs, happiness, sadness, success, failure. It really happens to all of us. And the one thing we don't do is talk about that and share it with each other. And that's what this podcast is about, just bringing us all together to realize, we're all in this together and we all have the same stuff we deal with in life. And every now and then you come across somebody that really focuses on paying it forward. And that is what Cesar has done with the profit recipe. And he is going to bring us the most incredible story. And I can't wait to bring you his journey and everything he's been through. And I'm so excited because this is my first split screen Zoom podcast with Cesar Quintero of the Profit Recipe. All right, so everybody, I'm so excited to bring you Cesar Quintero from the Profit Recipe on my very first Zoom podcast. Cesar, welcome.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I did an intro, I kind of explained how amazing you are, but I'm going to let you put it into your own words, your journey from Venezuela to sitting here now in front of me.
I love it. Yeah. So I'm originally from Venezuela, and at 24, I decided to get married, move to Miami, and start a business all at the same time, because that's what you do when you're 24. Exactly. There's no risk at that age, I guess. But I started a business in the food delivery area. So we cooked and delivered meals to people in their office. The company's called Fit to Go, and we started 16 years ago. So this was pre-Facebook, pre-Uber Eats, pre all of that. So I had to literally go and knock on doors and convince people it was convenient to have your meals delivered. And the company grew with, it was in the right space at the right time. And we were one of the first in the market. So we grew with the company. And little by little, I realized that my company kept growing and growing. And my time kept dwindling down. So I had no time, and I was stressed, and I was all over the place. And I was running like a chicken without a head, or a featherless chicken, or a dead chicken at that point, boss. Probably.
The old school boss.
I was being the boss. I was doing everything, right? All the decisions had to go through me. Everything had to go through me. And then 2012 came, and we were the fifth company targeted by an attorney and a woman. And we were sued with a class action lawsuit. And I took it personally. I wanted to prove
what would be
to
the
people
reason,
that had done.
though?
So it was.
Was there even a reason?
It's a bogus reason. It was something around, miles and wage an hour and all these things, but that, they were a 1099. I had Uber before Uber kind of thing. But then it was finally dismissed by a judge, but the story between it was long because I wanted to fight it, and I wanted to prove that I did nothing wrong. And when all my energy was going to this,
working so hard on this business, and someone comes in and just wants you to settle a lawsuit, and you're like, heck no, I'm not wrong.
Yeah, but the realization was that it was the worst and best thing to ever happen to me because, first of all, who sues a dead chicken? I had nothing to give. Like I was in a place where there was like, what do you want to take? And by Black Friday of 2012, everybody was out shopping, and I had $0 in my bank account, $0 in my business account. And I was like sitting in this settlement, case with the attorney, and the attorney looked me in the eye and said, "Hey, Cesar, you should either settle this now or close down your business. Like, what are you doing here?" And that's when I realized that all these years of hard work had panned out to nothing. And I was like, I have no money in the bank right now. I've been slaving away, and I'm jealous of all my friends that are making so much more money as in the corporate job. And
you're burnt out.
And the business wasn't giving me what I needed to give. And that's when I realized something needed to change. And so I went out searching, and I found Fran Biderman up in New York. She's one of Simon Sinek's case studies for purpose discoveries. And she did a purpose discovery with me. And I realized that my purpose was always around people. Like ever since I was a kid, it was always around empowering those around me so that they could improve their lives. And that's what I realized, I've been 7 years in my business focused on the product, on the processes, on the systems, on the costs, on all these things. And I wasn't focused on what I love to focus in, which was my people. So that November, we got together as a team and I said, guys, this has to change. We need to change the way we do things. I can't be that leader that tells
Only
people
mindset.
what to do, and change my mindset and go through the process and say, okay, now let's find, and I shifted my position and I started empowering people and empowering them to accomplish what they need to do, take ownership of their roles, do the things that they need to do. And that's what triggered all the changes in my business, where we grew profit, we grew sales, and we paid the attorneys all in 1 year. It was crazy. I never thought that I could do this, but it wasn't me. It was my team doing it.
Telling you,
And
you have
eventually,
to take care of your people. They take care of you. You have to do that. And so many bosses or CEOs out there don't. It's all about the profit. It's all about the business, and they don't realize that they have a whole staff, they have a whole team, and those people are there for you. And when you kind of don't pay attention to, caring about them, well, how do you expect them to care about taking care of the very business you hired them to do? And so that is a fabulous way to look at things, because it's your people that make you successful. So you have to take care of your people too.
And that was a huge shift in my mindset, because I always thought a leader was I needed to tell people what to do and where to go, and that's how we would get there. And I realized that was not leadership. Leadership was really empowering others so that they could live the life and live and take ownership of their roles and their stuff. And that made a huge shift, so much so that I eventually sold my company to 2 of my employees. Right, I sold my company to 2 of my employees, and now they own Fit to Go, which it's been an amazing ride. I sold it 3 years ago. And then after that, what I did is I started 2 different companies. So one is an online university for entrepreneurship in Latin America called Emprendedor University. And then the other one is a South Florida firm of entrepreneurs going through the process as me. Because what I realized is that my story was not unique. Like, a lot of us go through the same processes and the same things. So I realized, well, I can teach all the journey I went through and all the processes and systems I did, the purpose discovery, the EOS implementation and traction, the decentralizing me as a leader and improving in my leadership skills, improving my team dynamics, improving all these things. So all the things I picked up during my 16 years in my first business, I said, you know what, I can put this into practice and help other entrepreneurs go through that stages in that cycle. So that's how the Profit Recipe was formed last year.
That's just incredible, because for you to go through this lawsuit, you just want to fight it because, it's your character and you're not wrong. And I get that. I mean, anybody out there would probably get that, would fight for their company. But instead of getting knocked down, instead of saying, okay, I'm out of money, the American dream, I came here from Venezuela, it's not working for me, I'm doing something wrong. You didn't. You said, okay, wait a second, I need to rethink this. And first of all, there's the first thing that makes you so different, that a lot of people would have just taken the punch and maybe gone into a completely different direction. But you were like, no, how do I get better? How do I get better? And then you turn around and don't even say, okay, how do I get better? I've learned how I can be a better boss, but let me teach this to people. That just shows how giving and how unselfish you are. So I can only imagine how much your employees love you. And me being on the other end of that, I've never owned a company except for my podcast now, but working in an office with a wonderful, wonderful man, but he didn't necessarily make a good leader per se. He was very good at what he did, but he didn't use his people or wrap his arms around his people. We were just part of the backside of the business that we weren't used for our strengths. We weren't really even so much paid attention to. It was all about the business. And as he was a great businessman, that doesn't necessarily make you a great leader. And what I've learned and what I have seen is that great leaders delegate. They do exactly what you said. You take care of your people, you use them for their strength, you figure out how you can help them be better at what they do. And of course, that makes the whole company more successful. That alleviates so much pressure on you because you see your people for their value. And that makes you a happier guy, which I would imagine makes your wife a lot happier. Am I getting this right, Cesar? Am I saying
100%.
how amazing you are?
No, not me. It's also a little selfish. I'm gonna be honest, because that's my purpose. My purpose is I get a kick about empowering others. So I'm a guy. I'm a twin. So my twin was a taker, and I was always a giver, right? So I always wanted to be there for them. But it's been something that I've had all my life. But the reality is that you're right. Like the biggest thing that we have as entrepreneurs and as leaders is letting go of our ego. That's, I think, the biggest struggle we have is sometimes we need to admit we're good at some things and we're not good at others. And just be vulnerable enough to and courageous enough, to say,
Courageous.
yeah, and say, like Brene Brown says, courageous. And it's saying, it's okay. I don't need to do everything. Even if I started the business, doesn't mean I have to do every role in it. Right. So where can I leverage other people and where can I empower people to really take ownership and take it to the next level? What you said is really key because we're actually having an event next week. So this is very great to plug it in the podcast, but we're having an event called that's all based on conscious capitalism. So on June 10th, in the top floor of the Tower Club in Fort Lauderdale, downtown Fort Lauderdale, we're having a community event for the Profit Recipe for entrepreneurs just to come in. And we're bringing in Gregoire, who's a specialist in conscious capitalism. And what that means is, how can we make businesses that are not only around profit, but more around impact to all stakeholders, our employees, our customers, and our communities? And how can we I really believe that entrepreneurship can change the world. Right. And that's what always happens. We bring the best advances in technology and whatever it is, we bring the best things and we have the largest impact, but we need to do it for good. So I think when we bring in communities, when we bring in all our stakeholders, our employees, our clients, our team members, and our investors, everybody needs to win. This is not about one person winning, but about all of us winning. So that's what that event is all about. So everybody's invited if you want to go, and we'll have the link here, and you'll have it.
Absolutely. I will make sure all of the listeners, all the viewers are linked up. They get all the information, they can register. And just so to be clear, before the pandemic and starting back up, there were different events where you could go and meet and learn from, share business cards, but this isn't that.
Explain this is not a sales event.
Is not just a meet and greet and sharing business cards.
Yeah, what we want to do at the Profit Recipe is we want to create a community of entrepreneurs that are evolving, not the entrepreneurs that want to sell and pretend to be something they're not. This is an event for entrepreneurs that want to show up and learn and grow together and not about selling, right? So I don't want this to be a networking or a lead generation event. I want this to be an event where we can all grow and learn and grow together and create impact together.
And learn how to be a better leader by letting go.
100%. Yeah.
Learn where you could get better as a leader, as a
leader,
and
as
how
a boss,
you can as an entrepreneur. To then actually, what happens is you're more successful.
Yeah, and how you can impact your community too, because entrepreneurship, really, we hire the most people in the States. The small businesses are the ones that hire the most people that impact their small communities, and that really we can make a difference in our small communities. So this is what it's all about. The Profit Recipe, we developed all these power events where we can have entrepreneurs in South Florida connect, learn, and grow together, right? So they can really impact our community one company at a time.
I think that's amazing, Cesar, because you came from Venezuela with big goals all at once, getting married, starting a business. You did a little bit of the wave, you had a little hiccup, a little learning, and you're still growing. You're not only a very, very successful entrepreneur, so successful that your employees bought your company, your business that you were doing at the time, but you're still trying to pay it forward. You're still trying to make other entrepreneurs here in the States, here in the US, strong and powerful in their ability to lead and be successful. And that's a beautiful story. It's just, you're not normal, but it's an honor. It's absolutely an honor to have spoken with you multiple times and just really learning your whole story and your whole journey. You're really an incredible, you practice what you preach, and it's awesome. And I'm so excited that people are going to learn more and more about you and attend the event. Everything Cesar, I will link up his social media, ways to contact him. Of course, everything for the event on June 10th. I'm so excited for you.
Well, thank you. You made me blush a little bit. But yeah, it's all part of the thing about giving back. I really feel that I've retired. Like what I do, I love to do. And this is what I wish for every entrepreneur and every person and every leader out there. Even if you don't have your own company, you're a leader in your own way. So you need to find those things that, you love to do, you're good at doing, you can make money, be compensated appropriately, and then also be impactful for the world. So I think if we find those things and we find that branch and that job and that influence that that we can make and find all those for, that's really what conscious capitalism is all about. It's not about just making money, it's about creating impact.
Well, you're making an amazing impact.
Thank you, Shannon.
You are amazing. And again, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I am thrilled to bring you to everybody and just watch the next thing Cesar's got going on.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, we'll have a ton of these events. So I hope to see you there, and can't wait.
Yeah, you're going to be in my backyard. I'm right down the street from the Tower Club.
I love it.
Well, thank you, Cesar. And again, Cesar Quintero with the Profit Recipe. He's got amazing stuff going on. The event, really pay attention to this guy. He's a role model for a lot of you entrepreneurs out there. He knows what he's doing. Trust him. Trust what he says.
Thanks, Shannon. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. This is one of I love this segment. It's called Be Kind. And that's when I take a quote or a saying or something in reference to whatever we're speaking about today. And the one thing I heard Cesar say when I first spoke to him, and the thing I've read about him, is he says, I do what I love with the people I love. And I thought, wow, that's really sweet. And that's a nice saying from Cesar Quintero. Thank you. Okay, now this is a really fun segment on Shannon Confidential, Style Secrets. Now this is where I pay forward something I've done, something I've tried, something my friends have done, something my friends have tried, and we try to share it with people so they can, enjoy it or benefit from it. And I thought today, what better thing to style secrets and pay forward is Cesar Quintero's event that he's having on June 10th. And that is with E-Volution Events that they have there at the Profit Recipe, and it's going to be on June 10th at the Tower Club here in Fort Lauderdale. It begins at 8:30 a.m. through 12:30 p.m. and I will make sure I link you up so everybody can register. It is going to be about the conscious capitalism and marketing ROI. I hope you all have a great time. Thank you.